My name is Irene Winkler. I'm a pediatric occupational therapist. I've been practicing for 17 years.
So my first question is, did you always know what you wanted to do?
No. I always knew I wanted to do something in the medical field.
Mm-hmm.
My father was a general practitioner doctor, so I thought I wanted to do that. I went to college and took some of the medical pre-med stuff, classes, and yeah, didn't do very well in chemistry and stuff. So I was looking for other careers.
Where were you when you were my age?
When I was 16, I was in high school. I grew up in Dunbar, California, which is kind of like around Pomona. It's the 57 and the 60. I was probably 16. I was probably a junior in high school, just starting, and just didn't know what I wanted to do. I was taking all like honor classes or I was copying some of my friends. I had a group of friends, but really didn't know what I wanted to do. But a lot of my classmates were I'm going to be a doctor, I'm going to be a lawyer, things like that.
Perfect. Next question, what challenges did you have to overcome?
I mean, just trying to figure out what I wanted to do, getting into college, switching majors in the middle. I was a biology major, then I was a psychology major, just trying to figure out what I wanted to do. And it was a lot easier back then, I would say. I mean, you're looking at almost 20 years. It was much easier to get into school, even though there weren't that many schools to get into. But the challenges were really just trying to get in and maintain, and also just my confidence. Like, I didn't think I could do it. I was one of the lower performing people in my group, so just trying to know that I can get in somewhere.
Oh, okay. Did you ever have second thoughts taking this career?
This particular one? No.
No.
When I found it, I knew it was for me.
Yeah. So, does your work affect your outside life?
Yes. I own that. Yes, it does. I take work home, the work balance. I have 2 kids, and luckily my husband is very supportive. But yeah, it affects my outside life.
Did you ever doubt yourself?
Oh, all the time.
All the time?
All the time. Especially being, particularly as a business owner, yes. Of why am I doing this? It's taking away time from my family, but I enjoy what I do.
How does your daily routine look like?
My daily routine during the week is I get my kids out the door, I drop them off at school, and I come here, and I'm here from 8 to about 5, and it's just seeing kids, returning phone calls, or talking to parents regarding the treatments, and then doing bills and just day-to-day business stuff too.
Okay. What is the best part of your job?
Best part of my job. There are a lot of things about my job. There is flexibility in some ways, owning my own business. The people are fun. The nice part about owning my own business is that I can pick and choose who I work with. So it's fun. It can be fun, and I like working with the kids, and I can kind of pick and choose. I don't want to say pick and choose. I can limit who I want to see. There are certain groups that I know I'm not very good dealing with, so I can say no. I'm not going to treat them because I'm not the best person for that. I'm not being forced by a company that I work for to do that.
Yeah. Oh, well, so at what moment did you know that this is what you were meant to do?
at what moment. There wasn't really a moment. The way I found OT is what I call a second career job. A lot of people who go into this didn't know OT, occupational therapy, existed. It's actually coming up, but before, people didn't find it until after they had already formed a career. So I was lucky. I found it when I was in college. I was actually looking at physical therapy, and when I volunteered, I was trying to volunteer in the physical therapy department. They didn't have any openings, so they put me in the OT department. I didn't know what occupational therapy was. So I volunteered there for 2 years. I would probably say about 3 months in, when they really started saying, oh, you're here to stay for volunteering, they started giving me a little bit more responsibility, and I saw what they were doing, and that's probably what I did. But it was a gradual thing. It's not like, oh, yeah. There was no, some people say, oh, there was, as soon as I saw it, I knew it. I needed to know what it was.
Right. What makes you want to keep going? What's your inspiration?
What's my inspiration? Well, right now it's just helping the kids. And then, again, working with some really good people.
Right. So, I was just wondering, did you ever heard of the noise?
No.
So the noise is basically like people that tell you like can't do it, like, oh, you're not smart enough, or like,
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever have a struggle with the noise, like even yourself?
Yeah, with myself, yes.
Yeah.
All the time. I still kind of have to do that now, especially balancing being a therapist, a business owner, and then a parent, and then a wife, and everything else. It's always going to be there, at least for me.
Right.
So,
what do you think is the most important skill to have as a therapist?
listening skills.
Listening.
And empathy. Like really, a lot of occupational therapists, or what I recommend is taking, it's counseling classes, because you need to listen to your patients and their families, and you need to understand where they're coming from.
Interesting. How do you define success?
How do I define in general? Really don't define it. I mean, I haven't really, I wouldn't say, I think when you define success, the problem is that it becomes a goal, and if you need it, then you have nothing else to do it. So it's not something that I would really say that I've defined it. I mean, I'm successful now because I found what I enjoy, what I do. But I guess that's the definition for me.
Well, how did you overcome the struggles that you went through?
I have a really good social support. My husband's very very supportive. I have supportive families, and I make sure I have supportive friends. And if they're not supportive, I've gotten old enough where I just tell them, you drift away, and that's what it is.
Right. Yeah. So how do you go to work and not bring it with you? Like the issues that people have and get stuck in your head.
Oh, I take it home all the time. Yeah, I mean, that's really hard to do. I just tend to talk to my husband about it. Like I said, we have a supportive network. A lot of the people that I talk to are therapists too, so you can kind of talk about it and just get it out. So.
Yeah. Well, one more question. Is there one piece of advice you would give me about what it takes to define my own road?
Really, don't listen to the noise, but really try to find mentorship and people that will support you. There's always resources out there that you're not expected to know everything. You're only 60. I mean, even now I get volunteers that they're in their 20s, late 20s, and they're just so lost. And I'm like, you're not expected to know everything, but you need to know you can go and find when somebody's offering you help, take it.
Right.
You know, it's take it, but don't worry. You know, you don't feel obligated to it either if you think it's wrong.
Of course.
Yeah.
Well, thank you
You're welcome.
once again. Is it difficult?
Right now, it can be difficult to get in,
Mhm.
especially if you didn't know that's what you wanted to do.
Mhm.
There are a lot of programs now. There are a lot of people wanting to get into occupational therapy because it's one of the up and coming careers to do. What I usually tell students or volunteers is to volunteer and see if you like it, and then look into your options. You're young enough of where to go. There are a lot of private schools, but that's really expensive. And the only real public schools in California that do have an occupational therapy degree are Dominguez Hills and San Jose State. And San Jose State's pretty much out for most everyone I talk to because of the cost of living up there. So just trying to plan out what you're interested in, and when you go to college, volunteer and see if you and volunteer in different areas, see if you like it. And that's in any career. Like if you go to occupational therapy and you're like, oh, I really don't like this, you know, volunteer somewhere else, do internships and see if you really mainly see kids under the age of 3. We do have some older kids, but we try to limit it. But we are strictly pediatric occupational therapy and physical therapy.
Oh.
So we have a lot of what we call sensory equipment. So the swings and jumping, a lot of obstacle courses, and then we have a baby area here, and that has a lot of baby toys. Majority of our toys, when you are dealing with little kids, they're all mostly over-the-counter things that you can buy in a toy store, just so that you can tell the parents, okay, try this, and you know, it's typical stuff. So.
Yeah, interesting.
But we do have some like equipment that is more therapy stuff, but most of it is stuff you can just have. It is fun. We also specialize in feeding, so oral motor stuff. So we do have that section.
Do your kids ever come here?
Do my kids used to. Now
Used
they're
to?
too big. But
Yeah.
yeah, they used to. They loved it. They're like,
Yeah.
so the hard part is when parents see that, they're always like, oh, you just play with the kids, and you're just like, no, I'm actually working with them. I went to school for this.